Welcome to the Bookweaver's Quill, where we help other writers, supporting them, sharing our struggles and our successes. And today we have the absolute wonderful opportunity to meet with Phoenix Drake. Stephanie, would you like to talk to us about Phoenix and all her work?
Sure, sure. I'm very fortunate to have met Phoenix through TikTok. So don't let anybody tell you you can't meet people through TikTok. And she is just this phenomenal author of mythology and truly strong female characters who blossom into these powerful heroines in her books. And I just love all of her work. And I'm so glad that we were able to get her to come on the show today and talk to us. Why don't you introduce yourself, Phoenix?
So I'm Phoenix Drake. I am originally from Arizona, but I work in Italy. And I've been very blessed to travel a lot, and that has inspired me to write. I got into writing because I was kind of weird, but I was working on my PhD and realized that I didn't like all the rules that went into publishing that way. And so I just said, I'm going to start writing. I want to start writing fantasy. And during COVID, I was stationed in Turkey, and the whole country had shut down basically. So for like 6 months, we were just really at home and stuck there, except for groceries. And so a lot of the stuff that I'm publishing now were stories that I wrote then. So it's been, I'm a very slow writer. Even though I'm hacking at it every day, I'm very slow. But so that's what's coming out now. Um, and went the indie route because I don't know that I want to be, I don't know where I want to go with this as far as like, do I want to make this? I'm just not sure. Like, I'd love to make enough money and retire and get a cabin somewhere and a dog, but I don't know if I want to be, I have a lot of freedom right now and I'm really enjoying that. So I don't know what I want to do with that, but I love writing. There were some mental health issues during COVID that I went through. Writing kept me sane, and it makes me so happy, and I knew I wanted to write about strong women. I was at the time, the fantasy that I was reading, it was very weak women who were dominated by men with a lot of experience. I just hated that trope, that virgin woman who has not been around the world, and she meets the guy and he bullies her. I just was getting tired of that. So I just decided I was going to write my own. And that's, I have a background in mythology, so it just fit right in. And so I've got 3 books published. I'm working on the 4th. I'm hoping to get it published before the end of 2026. And slowly but surely, I'm getting them out there, meeting great people.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it
It
is.
really is.
I love it. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys, I just like, it just makes, I get up at 5 every morning and write for 2 hours before work. And the work I do can be very dry and very conformity. There's a lot of conformity with
Mhm.
it. And I am not a conformist. So it really helps my mental health. I don't know any
Mhm.
other way to say it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In your writing, your female characters, excuse me, how do they come to you? I mean, how do they introduce themselves to you?
Jezebel, there's a lot of me in Jezebel with the religious mother and that type of stuff. So, I mean, obviously I didn't go to a Fey realm and meet 5 hunks, but her personality and sarcasm and her introversion, that's me.
Mm.
Yara from In the Beginning, I just wanted a very kind but strong woman. Like I don't like the idea that kindness has to equal or has to equate to weakness.
Mhm.
So I wanted to write a kind character who is not weak and is still very strong mentally and physically. She has nothing to do with me. I'm not like Yara at all. But that's where I came up with her. And Belzevia, the dark goddess, I kind of based her off Lilith. She's gonna people are gonna hate her probably, but in the end, I think they're gonna understand why she went to the lengths that she went through.
I do feel that that comes through with Belzevia is that even now it comes through that there is this drive that she has that even though it's so bad in what she's doing, there is a drive that is you can sense that greater drive behind her. So I even got that from that. So
good. I'm trying not to turn people off from her, but what she's willing to sacrifice, I'm hoping in the end, everyone will be like, oh, okay. So fingers crossed that I get that through.
I just wanted to say for the topic for today, just so people know, and you can introduce it, Anna Marie, but I just wanted people to know that the reason why I was sort of adamant about doing this topic is that Phoenix had posted on TikTok a video where she was just saying, you know, how do you, I forget exactly what you said, but I know you said something to the effect of, what do you do when people who you want to support you don't support you? So it was to the effect of that. And I remember at the time, and I didn't even know her at all, and I didn't even read your books yet. I was like, hey, would you want to talk about this sometime in the future?
I remember that.
So, you know, for it all these months later to come to fruition, I'm excited about it. So
good. Yeah.
And what led you to make that post, Phoenix?
I'm trying to, I think I had, I think it was the frustration of sending my book out to people in hopes that they would review it, even, positive, negative, whatever. Or no, I know what it was. It was trying to get feedback because I don't have people here that I can bounce ideas off of. And so it was people that I had met on TikTok. There was a group of people, and I was sending it to a couple of them and asking for feedback, and none of them would give me feedback. And so then I was like, oh, is it because it's awful? Or did they just want a free book? Or, what? And so it was a moment of that, it's like, I don't know. It's like trying to get honest feedback. I don't know if you guys have a hard time with that, but if something's terrible, I really want to know. And then not getting that was really frustrating. I was making promo videos for them. I mean, I was just trying so hard to get a group together and stuff like that, and it just was not working. But then I kind of walked away from that group, and it's worked out actually better, I think. Like I'm starting to meet different people. Not all of them are writers. Some of them are actually just readers that want to support indie authors. So even though I kind of walked away from that group of people, I'm building up another, like with you guys now, and some other readers. And so maybe it just needed to happen that way. I think that's what led to that post, just the frustration.
Yeah. This might be a good place for me to interject that I've started working with an online group of supporters, and it's called the Artists Morning. And the gentleman that is in charge, his name is Darius, and he has a number of meditations. That's how I found him. And so I've been listening to his meditations for over a year. And he has one specific one that I listen to a lot, which is about when you want to write your book and how, so he just visualizes all of that. But he offers every Friday morning at 9:00 a group meditation. And then you can stay after that meditation, and the writers that choose to stay can share things with one another. And so Friday was the first time I joined in that capacity. They were phenomenal people.
Yeah.
just phenomenal people. So I want to put that out there, Steph,
Sure. Mhm.
so that people know it is called The Artist's Morning, and it's on YouTube, and it's every Friday morning at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
so it's a support vehicle, which is excellent.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It
Thank you
really
for
is.
that.
Yeah, you're
I'll look that
welcome.
up, definitely.
Hmm.
Okay.
Mm.
We're lucky that we have one another.
Yeah.
Steph,
Yeah.
Jackie, and I. Yeah, we're very, very
Yeah.
lucky that we have one another.
Hmm.
Hmm. And we certainly do tap each other often.
Yes.
Yeah,
A lot.
very much so.
Probably too much, but.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we want to get into reading some passages? Since Phoenix is new, do we want somebody to go first and then
Yes.
we can
Yes, we
show her
do.
kind of how we do? Jackie?
Sure, I will go first. I think I'm gonna read off of my phone today.
Okay.
So let me see.
Jackie, I love the way your camera on your computer zeroes in on you. That's what I loved a couple
I
minutes
hate
ago,
this.
and
She's
then
a
pulls back
celebrity. She's
out.
our celebrity host.
It
So
was so cute a couple of minutes ago. It just keeps coming in. You
And then
stay
I was trying to
still.
get it to get
Yeah.
bigger again because I didn't want to be like that close. Like
Yeah.
I don't
You
like
stayed so relaxed.
I don't think so. I think when we look back, we'll see my eyes get like extra eyes. What's going on? Okay. All right, so this passage is from House of Unwound Thread, and it is a part in the book where the protagonist, who has amnesia, is being accused of having committed crimes that she believes she couldn't have possibly committed, even though she cannot remember. And at this point in time, the townspeople are kind of coming after her, and she has to flee. So, a woman that was kind of like a nurse and a helper in the beginning of the book takes her to this boarding school area where she should be. It's a very like private elite boarding school, and they figure that since it's like closed gate that she'll be safe there at least the time that they can figure out what's going on and things calm down a bit. And as she's on her way, originally she does not want to go, and she's kind of balking at the idea because everything she knows about herself is back in the town where the people are kind of against her. But she feels like anybody that would come looking for her would come to that town, and now she's being taken away to a whole different area, and she's balking until she sees the place. So I hope this won't be weird reading off my phone. It looked like something out of a fairy tale. Faint sunlight fell in brushstrokes, painting the walkways into glittering streams and making the neatly trimmed hedges appear dipped in liquid gold. Just beyond the fading day, dusk lingered like a promise, drifting around the corners and softening all the sharp edges until they were polished and smooth. I secretly wished it would stay this way, but just as the thought skimmed my mind, the remaining rays dipped below the hills, transmuting land and sky into an unending smear of black. The moment felt poignant, like the inevitable closing of one chapter so that a new one might begin. A beam of light pierced the dark. Claudel appeared at my side, lantern in hand. Are you ready? Despite the smile on her lips, worry streaked her voice. I hadn't wanted to be caged away in some dumb school, far away from everything that might shed light on who I was and what had happened to me. But now I felt my resolve falter. Sagemore was anything but how I'd imagined. It was powerful and sumptuous, pulling on me like a full moon pulls at the waves. My words came out, as sure as the steady drum of my heart. I am ready. As if in agreement, the torches flashed on, revealing a rocky travertine path that led to the building. The flickering flames caught on tiny specks of quartz in the marble, making the walls sparkle like constellations beneath the falling night. When the soft pad of Claudel's footsteps echoed behind me, I turned back, sticking out about both palms. She froze mid-step, the faintest crease forming between her brows. Something told me this chapter was mine to write, mine and mine alone.
Whew,
Mhm.
Oh,
well
Very nice.
done.
Yeah,
Thank-
it was wonderful.
Mhm.
Read more. It was great.
Mhm. Your descriptive phrases are, as you read, like I want you to stop so I can just savor, the different descriptive passages or phrases that you put in there. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
They
Thank
really
you.
are, Jackie.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a very good excerpt.
Thank you.
Yeah. How did you feel as you wrote it? I mean, tell me what what atmosphere were you in internally and externally?
Well, I was really living the moment like the first character. In this particular passage, I felt like Stephanie often says, like I was visualizing really everything that she would see and
Mhm.
everything that she would feel as she was approaching this new scary life that, this new scary place that she was being forced to go to. And I wanted it to be really a big juxtaposition between what she was fearing and then what she was seeing. And there are a lot of themes of alchemy in this book. So that's what I drew in a lot of like the gold and the transmutation and things like
Mhm.
that were a foreshadowing, obviously, of what is to come. And I just actually, I think part of me visualizes since I do live in France. It's very, very beautiful here where the region I live in is very heavily nature, but there are like just random castles or it's very hilly and you'll just be driving and then there's a castle and then or ruins or a forest glen with a magical pond and fountain, things like that. So I really draw from some of the places that I do see, and then some of the just, my imagination.
Very nice.
It
I'm
comes through.
Thanks.
It
I'm
does.
laughing because Jackie and I were Zooming the other morning, and she's just like, "Oh, horses are walking down the street. Here, let me show you." And then she turns the camera around, and there's just these people walking their horses down the street. And I was like, well, I can take that back with me for the rest of the day. People ask, how was your day? I saw horses in France walking down the street, but I was in New Jersey.
Stopping at the magical glen.
Yep. So, Jackie, what made you choose this particular passage in terms of the idea of support?
Well, I was thinking about how sometimes support isn't the way we always think about it. Like a lot of times, people, my original idea, I didn't like the topic, to be honest. When you said support, I was like, oh, so somebody has to help her, and that takes away her autonomy. And I wanted to portray her as this protagonist as somebody who was growing, had growth throughout her story, and who pretty much came from nothing, zero memories, zero recollection, zero family, and that will build herself into the person that she becomes. So I didn't like the idea of somebody supporting her. But then I realized that sometimes support is letting somebody take the steps on their own. And that's what made me think about this passage, that sometimes the best way we can support somebody is by stepping back.
Mm,
Mhm. And
mm,
that's a beautiful last episode. We talked about in between the lines.
mhm,
Mhm.
And for the group that you're writing for, it's just
Yeah, young
beautiful.
adult.
It comes
Mhm.
through. It comes
Mhm.
through. And it's I mean, teenagers and young adults do not want to be told, as you know, what to do. But just the way that you have written this, it's so subtle, but it empowers them.
Hmm.
you know,
That's
And
what
it
I was
gives
hoping.
courage to some who are very shy,
Hmm.
you know.
Agreed.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very, very well done, huh?
So, if you've read my book, which all of you guys have read it, this is from The Air of Light and Shadows, and I'm cutting out the romance portion of this. But it's so my character has been most of her life um, making decisions based off of life just happening to her. Life is just happening to her. And very much like how we all like to write strong female characters. This is probably the first point where she makes a decision. And, up until this point, it's like, okay, I'll do this. Okay, I'll do this. Okay, I'll do this. And then she makes a decision and she gets a little pushback from it. But so I'm gonna read off my computer, and so bear with me. I have to go with them, Lizzie said. Who? Redcap and Cedric. No, he said, shaking his head. The tree said he didn't care what the tree told her. She was not going with Redcap and that vile guy, Cedric. You told me you'd help, she said, her words barely a whisper. And I meant it, Brody said, his eyes burning into hers, jaw clenched tight. Lizzie's warm vanilla scent filled his lungs. I'll follow you anywhere. I'll do whatever you ask. But I can't let you go with them, Lizzie. His voice dropped. They won't stop at hurting you. I know you're worried, she said, but I need you to trust me. I need to go with them. But first, I need you to buy me some time. How? He asked as he helped her to her feet. When the time is right, take the pendant and run. I'll leave the gateway open for you. What do you mean? He asked. We can't let Redcap and Cedric get this pendant, she said, unfurling the fingers of her hand to reveal it. It's more important than we thought, and we need to keep it away from them. The ancient magic violently swirled around inside the pendant. You'll have to fight off whoever they send after you, Lizzie said. Her gaze dipped. It'll be hell. I can handle that, he said, but Lizzie, I'm going through the gateway with them, she said, her words final. And after we're through, only when it's safe, you come back, come through the portal, and find me. What you're talking about is insane, Misty chimed in. So many things could go wrong, Lizzie. You're going to just enter through an aperture and walk into some foreign world with murderous fae? We haven't even traveled to all the states in the United States, much less other countries. Are you sure this is what you want to do? Lizzie had fully regained her strength now. You're right, Lizzie said. But this is the way it has to be. We have no other options. I have to go to Algoria. I have to save them. Save who? Misty asked. Lizzie's eyes drifted to the tree. Everyone.
It's very powerful stuff. Very powerful. Decision making is challenging at times, especially when the unknown is coupled with it.
Yeah.
And that's very much what you bring through here.
Yeah, and I think the point was that, like, the reason why I read a little bit extra was that they give her so much pushback, but she maintains her position, like, I'm doing this.
Mhm.
And then they both, I didn't read Misty's part, but just for the sake of time, they both concede, and they both say, okay, like, I'll support you. And actually, Misty even says, I'm going with you. And she's like, no, 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 you should stay here. And she's like, no, I'm going with you. So they both end up following her decision, and giving her that support that she really doesn't ask for. She's basically saying, I'm doing this. So
yeah. I think much to Jackie's point about support being in different ways. In this particular passage that you just read, I feel like the two other characters are like Flintstones. They're asking the questions that the protagonist, Lizzie, could have within herself. Is determined with every question that they ask. It makes her more determined, and it really ignites more of her strength. I can do this. I will do this. I'm going. So the questions are really just helping embolden her courage that she's going.
Mhm.
It's
determine.
like a sounding board without saying it's a sounding board, I thought.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Well done.
Mhm.
And did you feel comfortable when you were writing that particular passage?
Um, yeah, so for me, a lot of what I work on in my own life is this idea of standing firm in my choices and saying, you know what, I'm making this choice. So it's very reflective of, my own life. Of course, I'm not going to a fantasy world to go do all these things, but
Sometimes it can be, my dear.
yeah, or am I? Or am I?
Exactly.
But just that idea of making a decision and saying like I'm doing this. I think even as it pertains to writing, like you make a decision you're going to write a romance book or you're going to write, a fantasy book or whatever it is, and you don't necessarily get the support of other people that maybe you think you might get their support, but then you don't. And you're like making that conviction within yourself, like, no, but I'm doing this, that decision. So almost like, do I need the support to make this decision? No, but then like having it is really nice to have, so when people then surprise you and say like, oh, I do support you, it's nice, but you've made that decision firmly within
Mhm.
yourself. So, and it's just like a lot of the stuff that I work on, I try to bring into my books. So,
As women, do you guys, like with what's going on in the world, does that ever affect your stance on how am I'm trying to word this correctly? Like when you talk about supporting others and there are certain things where you have all alluded to, if I really want to do this, I'm going to do this. It's great if I have support, but if not, I'm still doing it. Do you find that strengthens with what's going on in the world, especially as it has to do with women and children? Does it make any difference in your writing or the voice you put through with your writing? I've been thinking about that a lot lately with me, and would we be writing this if or would my voice change if certain things were happening? Does that affect you guys at all, or?
Personally, it doesn't. I don't think it affects me that much.
Yeah.
Because I am more geared to the younger crowd, and
Yeah.
I try to keep things from getting too I guess for lack of a better word, for too political,
Yeah.
because I made that mistake with my first book, and I got a lot of fallout for that. So I try to keep anything that could be seen as political out of the book. And so I personally don't, but I'd like to hear what the others have to say.
It does affect me.
Mm.
Very much so. And it will sound, well, I shouldn't qualify it. I believe strongly in magic, and I feel like I walk around with a magic wand that I try to put into my writing so that those who have, um, those who are ignited by what I write
Mhm.
pick up the message that I'm trying to get into my writing. And you mentioned earlier, Phoenix, about kindness. And the excerpt that I have today is about that. And so I do try to interweave that into my work because I do feel very strongly about the fact that all of us as women have been specifically chosen to live at this period of time.
Right.
And I think that is just phenomenal that the women whose shoulders we stand on, who had to be unbelievably courageous,
Mhm.
many women writers.
Mhm.
And so we then have the divine opportunity to share what we can through our voices at this particular time. Because I do believe in the next couple of years, our whole world will be different,
hmm
totally different. So
I
It's
love
just
that.
trying to get through Mercury retrograde.
I
Try to get through that.
I hear you. Hmm.
Mm.
will just say that for me, like I don't know that I've thought of it that way. I think that moving forward, I might think of it. I think when I write, especially thinking about the world and how I perceive the world, I guess Anna Marie, I kind of similarly think of it like you, like there's a message that I feel that maybe I'm helping to create a better world through my writing for women, but
Hmm.
that I'm not, I'm not doing it where I'm overtly saying, okay, this,
Yeah.
but almost bringing my knowledge and my experience to
Mhm.
the page. And in doing that, having some kind of, hopefully, having some kind of influence that is positive. And, you know, if I had a different experience than the one I have, or if I didn't take the journey that I've taken, maybe I would be writing something totally different, because I would be coming from it from a totally different perspective, a different frequency, a different place. So I'm I think about that, I don't know if I'm answering the question correctly, but I think about that in terms of if my experiences were different, or if I was, in a
Mhm.
different location, or if I was in a different, position, would I be writing it from a different perspective potentially? But all I can do right now is just bring what I've learned in my journey and my knowledge into my characters, and hope that that character is somebody that is helping to transform the world in a positive way.
Right. Where you're not overtly saying, here are my politics, but through my actions and through my words, hopefully I'm helping somebody.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that. This is just one of those things again where I can't talk about this at work. And I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, what are
Yeah.
other female writers and female creative minds? How are they dealing with this?
Yeah.
What's going
Yeah.
on? So thank you for allowing me to
Of
bring that
course.
into this discussion.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah. Mindset is very important.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Hmm. Yeah, mindset is good. All right, Phoenix, here we go. Toss of the
Okay,
coin. What do
if
you
I
think?
bring
You
up
or
this,
me?
I'm going to bring up some thoughts that I wrote down. It doesn't show up on the camera, does it?
No. No.
Okay. All right. So I just want to open with that. This was a hard topic for me too, because I'm like the same thing where I'm like, oh, I don't want her to come across weak. But um, when I started thinking about it, like it was said earlier, is that writing can look very different depending on where you're at in the journey. And sometimes it's, with writing community, like you guys have talked about, sometimes it's a mentor. And for me, a lot of the times it's just this stubborn voice that I have that refuses to quit. And even when people, don't get what I'm doing. I'm to the point in my life, and I think with what's going on in the world, that even if people don't get it, I don't know. I feel like I'm stronger, even though I don't know how to put it, but even if everybody hates it, I still feel like I'm doing the right thing. I don't know. Fantasy, I think stories, they look at that same dynamic. And so, when we look at the hero journey and where a character often begins alone and unsure, and they're not sure who they can trust and who's going to stand with them in their darkest moments, So after thinking about all that, I decided I was going to read a very short passage from Genesis, which is the first fantasy book that I published. And it shows that support sometimes arrives during chaotic moments. And so the moment that I'm going to read about is there are a group of characters that are trying to rescue Yara, who is the FMC, and she's stuck in a fortress in a volcanic realm. And just when the situation seems impossible, help arrives. So here is the passage, and it's very, very short. The ground rumbles beneath our feet, steam spiraling into the smoke-stained sky. Rivers of molten lava carve through the blackened earth in veins of liquid fire. The tremor of the land deepens from a volatile creature not of this realm. A silver dragon bursts through the smoke, wings flaring as its shadow swallows the scorched landscape. With a deafening roar, it unleashes a blazing stream of fire, the inferno spilling across the already hellish plains of Kalasmar. And that's this very short passage. I wasn't sure how long you guys wanted me to make it, so it's very short. But I just want to reflect on this, that moments like this one are the reasons that I love writing fantasy. Instead of quietly standing by, the support is shown by this dragon flying into battle, even though the world is burning. And because for me, writing is pretty solitary, the people who believe in the story with me, those are the ones that keep me going. And so that's why I share that. And I just wanted to close with the series, the two books that are out. Really, the In the Beginning series is really just seriously asking one question. And that question is, what happens when the beings that humanity worship were never here to save us? And that's how I want to end that. I hope that was okay.
Yeah.
No, that was great.
Yeah.
I figured no one was going to do a dragon, so.
No. No, the thing is, like, Phoenix, your writing is, you know, you and Jackie actually have something that I really love. You guys do something similar. Your descriptions are so, they pull you in. The way that you guys write, like, they pull you in. And I remember reading in the beginning and thinking, oh my goodness, like this story is just, it's, you know, I'm on the edge of my seat, and the action, like with when that dragon comes through, I mean, you see exactly the messages that you're trying to get across, and especially what you just said about the worshiping and how they are not here to save us. She does it so well. I can't even tell you guys how well she does this, but I definitely see, and in that part that you're talking about, it was so, like, I could not put that down. I remember because I was reading it on the treadmill and I was supposed to be done and I was supposed to get up, and I think I did like another half hour because I was like, I can't put this down and I need to know what happens. Do they get her
Ready
or
for the
not?
tour this summer.
Are these guys gonna be there for her when she busts through this wall or not? You know, I'm like, can't stop. So yeah, and I think that series, as much as you didn't want to talk about, I think there is a lot of support. I think the theme of support is very big in that series. And it doesn't always look, you know, linear, and sometimes it comes through different ways, you know, than people would normally expect. But it is definitely apparent, and it's really, really cool. So
I know I had to really think about that, like what a fellow said. It was like, what? You know, and then when I started thinking about it, I was like, wait, I can come at this so many different ways. So, you know, you got me out of my comfort zone, and which was good because then I had to look, I was able to look at my book differently and support differently. So good, because, you know, cannot be complacent.
Really, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. And the confidence in which you read is awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
You guys, can we just call each other every day?
Yeah, you can call me anytime. Also, I would like to note, Jackie, this is for you too. If you decide to read Genesis, I think you will have the same feelings for Nicholas that I do, because
falling in love.
I'm just saying. I like them all, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about them. I don't know.
Well, it's funny, Phoenix, the way you just reacted, saying, you know, can we do this all the time? I read a lot about C.S. Lewis because I like his work very much. I love his stuff. And it was very hard for him when he was writing, because a lot of people did not, you know, at his stature as professor and everything like that, a lot of people didn't understand what he was doing. They expected something that was much more highbrow and so on and so forth. And he and J.R.R. Tolkien were friends, but their friendship got so much tighter because they decided to start a group called the Inklings. Inklings, I think that's what it's called, yeah. And they got together and sat and talked and everything and really helped one another during their creative process.
Hmm.
So I think that that's certainly when we started the Bookweaver's Quill, that was our desire was to reach out, to do what we were doing, to read our stuff, but to also hopefully fan the embers of other writers that you are not alone.
Hmm.
I'm very comfortable being last because, like I said, when I was in school, my last name began with W, so I was always put in the back of the room. Yeah, so we were always the last ones to do things in the way we proceeded. I'm going to read a scene, porch scene is what I call it, from The Old Man's Beard. And this story, or this part of the excerpt, takes place after I introduce the old man and his wife. They're sitting out on the front porch in their rocking chairs. And the old man has a very, very, very long beard, which he's never cut from the time he was started growing a beard. And the support is very evident in this particular excerpt because the old woman, it's kind of like right and left brain talking to one another. So I'll just jump in. The old woman sat stiffly in her rocking chair, a small wicker basket at her feet. Tied neatly to the handle of the wicker basket was a thin wooden sign that read, 3 shillings to touch the bottom of the beard. Every so often, a breeze lifted the old man's long, snow-covered beard, where it wound around his feet and onto the porch boards. With a gentle motion, he gathered the beard and draped it over the little sign, covering the words completely. The old woman noticed it once and gave a sharp sigh. "Must you do that every time someone passes?" she muttered. 3 shillings is not foolish money. How else can we provide for ourselves? The old man rocked slowly, the chair creaking in its familiar rhythm. His eyes wandered toward the distant line of pine trees. "Perhaps," he said quietly, "but not every gift needs a price tied to it." The old woman gave a short laugh. "Gift? It's a beard, not a miracle. People are curious, that's all. And curiosity, if we are wise, can pay for a sack of flour." He smiled. "Listen," he said, nodding towards the horizon. 3 baby robins chirped, flying between the fence posts as the wind moved through the pine trees, swaying their branches. "All this comes to us every day without asking a single shilling," the old man commented. The old woman folded her arms. "You cannot bake bird song into bread," she said flatly, "and the grocer does not accept the scent of pine as payment." The old man lifted a strand of his beard and let it fall again like quiet snowfall onto the porch boards. "No," he said, "but a man who forgets to notice such things may find himself poor, even with a purse full of coins." The old woman shook her head and settled back into her chair, the small basket rattling faintly beside her. "Your foolish musings have not kept us warm at night, but your beard has done so, and this sign will encourage our gathering a few shillings a week for food." Several rays of afternoon sunlight illuminated the top of the pine trees as the old man reached across and laid his hand gently over hers. "Perhaps," he said, "a beard does warm the body, but kindness warms the heart." A low but audible disapproving sigh filled the space around the old woman. Undaunted, the old man's fingers gently laced around his wife's, while the sunlight turned to a golden hue atop the pine trees.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Definitely left right brain.
It is.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
very
nice.
much so. Yeah,
Hmm.
very much so.
Anna Marie, that made me think of a lot of the stuff that I've been studying lately about how we're moving into this um, new age of really governing things with our heart rather than, our mind, which, we have,
Hmm.
I don't know, Phoenix, if you've heard of like heart brain coherence, but we've, all kind of heard of that. But when I was listening to it and how she was focused on the physical and, you know, the physical, what she could get from it in order to survive, right? Survival. And then his was more from the heart and,
Hmm.
what you feel from the heart. And I think that's very powerful from the standpoint of what we're moving into. And if you're putting this work out there, how that will translate to people because of that idea of us moving into governing things by our heart and really
Hmm.
tapping into that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hope to bring through that although she's gruff, that gruffness is really her expression of love. I mean,
Hmm.
she's just practical. She's practical. She's trying to help control an environment that she feels is out of control.
Mm.
And that's her expression. And so, yeah, I won't go on and on about it, but yes, that's what I hope to get across.
Yeah, it came across.
Mhm.
How are you feeling when you were writing that passage, Anna Marie? What did that
It
stir in you?
felt very much that I just love the old woman. I really do. I, she just, she's just grumpy. But like I said, she's just so full of wanting things to work smoothly, but she doesn't realize that she's making it bumpy. So I just love that. Yeah, I love that. I especially liked years ago, I read the James and the Giant Peach.
Mm.
I
And in that story, the worm and the centipede. I mean, I would sit and read those passages over and over again, and because they were the right and the left brain, So the old woman to me is very much like the centipede, always complaining, always had all these things, but was really just the life of the party, but complaining all the way. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I feel that it's hopeful because I certainly know where the story goes. And it goes to a place where I believe the universe comes in and helps both of them understand their place, their space, and their purpose in each other's lives and in the lives of the people that they touch. Yes.
mm.
Yeah. I get excited, Jackie. You know me. I just sit there and write and this, oh, look at that. Yeah. And I think for the three of you, especially that you all write fantasy, um, I think that must happen to you. When you sit down and your character comes in and your character, starts to speak to you and you feel that
Mhm.
energy through your fingers. And
Hmm.
don't you get awestruck as you're
Hmm.
writing and, things start to unfold in front of you? And it's just like, oh, wow. It's a cool thing to do. And that's why I liked joining these other people the other morning on the YouTube, artists morning.
Hmm.
Darius is very much like that. He's a cool guy in the way that he expresses things. Yeah. So, and you could hear the other people how they felt too. So that was good. Yeah.
It's funny that you were talking about the character. I, almost finished with book three, and this one character who was just like a supporting character, and he is, he just was, and I told Jackie the other day, like, he just wanted to be like more. He's just pushing me. And so I had to develop him more because, you know, but as I'm writing him, he's just so cool. And like you're saying, like it comes through. And I'm like, now I can't envision my life without you.
Yeah, it is. It's an exciting thing that we all have the opportunity to do.
Mhm.
And we answered that call. Maybe
Mhm.
not for myself as, anyway, I won't go into all that stuff from behind, but yeah, we're very lucky.
Mm.
Very lucky. So Phoenix, I'm thrilled that I got to meet you today, and I'm sure everyone that's watching this episode will be equally happy to have heard about your work and certainly to have heard the excerpt that you shared with us. And
I'm
I
just
think,
happy to meet you guys too. And thank you, Stella, for this introduction and for taking a chance. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes, it was great.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. It inspires us to bring
Exactly.
you more content.
Yes, and I will also link your books, Phoenix, below in this episode so people can get them. And I'm so thankful to have you on and to meet face to face, and always thankful to chat about books and all the good stuff.
We all need to meet in England and do something in England.
Ooh, okay. Jackie, why
yeah,
are you in the dark?
I was just going to ask her too.
Is this a horror movie? Do we need to do something? We can't,
Yeah.
none of us can get to her. Sorry.